You know, they say you can play 3 chords for 30,000 people or 30,000 chords for 3 people.
That's so true, brother. So true.
We rolling? Fuck yeah, man.
Fuck
Hell yeah, dude.
How long's it been? Years.
3 weeks? Feels like years.
Feels like years, man.
Feels like years.
You've actually relocated for at least a week of those 3 weeks.
Dude, I've been doing fucking fantastic.
Great. Dude.
I've had a great few weeks, man. I haven't I don't want to lead with this because we don't talk about like self-improvement stuff. Right. But like I still haven't drank. Dude. It's been like 6 weeks since I drank. Really. I started, I think we probably touched on this, but like, why do we drink? We drink because it fucking rules. Like, it's not even think about it. It fucking rules. It always has ruled. It just stopped ruling. And I was like, my moods were going up and down so much that I was like, let me take a break for a week. And I did, and just didn't feel the need to start. And as I kind of like stayed away, my moods, instead of going up and down, kind of just like stayed stable.
Yeah.
And started getting better. So just just came back from like the Chicago area, and I'm going to be real careful not to say specifics. But just came back from that and like a work type thing. And went in there, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to drink.
Sure,
like, it's like, it's not a problem. It's not like I have to stop for any reason.
Yeah, nothing happened.
And within context, nothing happened, which is great.
Yeah,
I'm happy I didn't wait for something fucking wild to happen.
Which is how it happens a lot of times. So it's better to be, you're lucky.
And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll drink. Like, it's just going to be natural. Like, be in like an assembly, a class or whatever all day. And then, like I'm meeting friends that, I've only really seen on the computer all.
Sure.
Because we had this class, it was all summer long, and it was a Zoom class. And the people were from like all over the country. So I interacted with these people all summer, and they were just little squares on the computer screen.
Yeah.
And then to like see them in person for a week, it was great. And like everyone got along.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And yeah,
what's that like to not drink at an event like that when you're going out and kind of meeting people afterwards? I'm sure you guys had your nights to yourselves where you could go see some cool shit in Chicago.
Yeah.
What's that like? Like, do you fall into like a groove where you're just like kind of sipping on a water or like a club soda or something?
Dude, it was phenomenal. I was like, first night, I was like, yeah, I'll drink, whatever, no big deal. And I got to the hotel bar, and beers were $9.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, maybe not now. Maybe I'll wait till we go somewhere else where they're not $9.
Yeah.
So I got a club soda and a lime. It's fucking fine.
Yeah,
I still hang out, and I didn't feel like I was punishing myself.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like sad that I wasn't drinking, and so I'm just going to like not be me and sulk in the corner. Dude, I was on fire.
And you actually, you're a social butterfly, and like, and then you like within a couple hours, you found yourself actually being more into conversation and shit. Yeah. Holy shit, man! That's
because I still have a drink in my hand.
Sure.
Right? Like,
that's the whole thing of it that would make it awkward.
I don't need the alcohol to like hang out. Like I don't.
I agree with you.
But I still have. No, this is my own kind of like self value. But I still have the drink in my hand. At one point, someone said to me, "They're like, dude, you don't drink. I noticed, huh?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I just kind of stopped like 6 weeks ago. I'm like, I'm not used to hanging out like this, not drinking, but it's working out fine.
Yeah.
And I had a Heineken 0.0 in my hand. We were at a different bar. I still love the taste of beer.
Right.
And I'll still drink 11 fucking non-alcoholic beers.
Right.
Just hanging out, like, which is weird, like, to drink that many of them. I have to tell the bartenders, like, they run out after a couple. I'm like, nah, throw like 10 in there. I was like, I'm good for a lot of these. Like, all right, man.
I know a guy who was drinking like the Heineken Zeros or whatever the other beer is for the non-alcoholic. He was drinking so many of them, he'd end up catching a buzz. Like, he'd had like 24 of them, and then that was like equivalent to like 4 or 5 beers, and he'd be like buzzed again. Like, how do they think you're supposed to have 24 of them? Like, it's the substitute thing. But I agree. It's like, it takes so long to get drunk anyway. I feel like I can have, at this stage of drinking, like the whole games that we've been doing it since late grade school to early high school, recreationally, and then it kind of ebbed and flowed through the 20s and 30s. So we're both in our early 40s. Like, I feel like I can drink 12 beers and not feel drunk, or I can drink 3 and feel buzz. It all depends on my mood.
Yeah.
And then as the older I got, my mood wasn't ever as like excited and like all into like whatever I was doing socially, to where so it just took longer and longer to get there anyway. Mm-hmm. So I figure like when you sit back and like you said, just having the drink in your hand, that's like half the battle, because it's not like you're getting ripped, drinking, so
it is weird though. Like, and I'm not coming from a place of like, I'm doing something better than anyone else because of this. It's just I'm not used to it, so we're talking about it. It's not like I figured it out and like I'm better.
It's definitely the most interesting thing going, that I've heard all week.
And if you can go and tune in a couple months where I'm back on the wagon, like it's one of those things.
I like that you preface it with like this isn't like anything. It's something that works for now, and it's cool.
Yeah,
it's an experience you're going through, and you're not saying like this is something I'm doing this for good or whatever. There's nothing. Like you said, nothing happened.
Yeah. Which, and there's been nights where I'm like, if I'm not careful, something's going to happen.
Right.
Not that it was a problem like that, but drinking at gigs, driving home from gigs. Yeah, dude, like even like solo beers.
Yeah.
Not for hours, but like a solo like IPA or whatever, like in the middle of the day, like
right.
I see some place I want to stop in. So it was a lot, but I did it for mood. I did it for mental health.
Mental health.
It wasn't like an alcohol type thing.
And the coolest thing is that you found positive results with it.
Yeah.
There's so many things like
for me now.
Yeah. So many things you try in life, and you're like, "Fuck, this sucks."
But yeah, this past week, the one dude was like, "Man, like, fucking, I just feel like I really want to have a drink with you. It's kind of weird that you're not." And I'm like, "We are having a drink." Like he's like, I know. And I'm like, "It's just that. Like we are. Like,
yeah.
If this was a regular Heineken, it doesn't change like the hangout that we're having."
Yeah. No.
Then I walked away and I heard them whisper.
Yeah,
that's about as specific as I'll get with it. Went to Buddy Guy's Blues Club.
I've been there also, and I got that text you sent me. That's cool. It was cool shit.
Dude, it was great.
There's a little strip around there, right, where there's a bunch of clubs.
Yeah,
because I kind of remembered. I remembered the clubs being open until like 4 to 6 in the morning too, aren't they? They're late night.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. And when we went, it was like super targeted.
Yeah.
Like we took the particular train we needed to go, and it dropped us off a block from it. We just hooked a hard right around the corner. We were right there.
Beautiful. Chicago's a big city too. I've been there once, and I noticed everything's kind of the north side is like the showy Chicago. That's Wrigley Field and all that. But then there's like because me and the boys one time it was our bachelor party, and we went to go to a titty joint. Mm-hmm. So like I guess we were sick of the ones in North Chicago. We wanted to go to where no tassels. Nothing.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, you're gonna have to go
full nude.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the south side. So we're like, all right, let's go. Of course, like 4 of us get in a car, a cab, and it was like 45 minutes later, and we're like, fuck, dude, we weren't even there. It was like we got on like an I-95 type thing, and just thought the city was like Philadelphia. You're kind of in the northeast.
Couple exits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're by the stadiums in no time. 45 minutes later, we weren't even in like South Chicago, but that was where the kind of rough joints were. So we got there and then got out of the car and then immediately went back. We're like, this isn't safe.
We want C-sections and all.
Exactly. We want to see all I know a place. Yeah. We want girls we can take back with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at this club, and the MC, like the host of the evening, I guess, before like the main band goes on, he goes, I've got a bet with these guys up front that more than half of this room is from out of town. Not in Chicago. I just want, as the bet is, this is the premier blues club. He's doing a great job hosting. He's like hyping it up. He's like, and I just want to show you the reach that we have here. He started going from table to table. Where are you from? And first table was like North Side Chicago. I'm like, all right, well, losing. Next table, definitely like regulars. Like he knew the answer. They're like, we live right across the street. He's like, all right, fuck. Then it started, dude. Italia. And they're like, oh, it's Italy. China. Israel. Finland. Spain.
World-class city.
Morocco. Like, dude, this was a Wednesday night.
Holy shit.
And, like, let's say there's 30 tables. More than half were from out of town.
Wow.
A quarter of those were from, like, Europe or, like, the other side of the world.
So it really is a world-class city, It
world-class club, yeah. I mean,
club. Well, city, yeah. I mean.
Like, it was definitely, like, a blues pilgrimage for, like, some of these Europeans. Like, some of them were, like, older couples.
Okay.
You could tell it was, like, a bucket list trip. Like, let's go to the United States, see some cities, and while we're in Chicago, let's see a real blues bar.
How was the music? Hot?
Real
hot blues?
Real hot blues.
Old guys, kind of the best blues guitar players are the ones that like are sitting because they're so old and out of shape, but you can tell they were in the Delta when the Delta was hot.
100%. The guy that we saw, I forget his name, but it was like it was a 4-piece, and it was the Mike Barkley band, but whatever this dude's name was, seated with a big Gibson ES 335 and like the Jim Brown kind of leather pillbox.
Okay,
like Kentucky Fried Chicken hat.
Yeah, very.
And you're like, if you're seated and you have the balls to have that hat on your head, you're going to be ripping. And like, it wasn't Stevie Ray Vaughan type blues. It was just like the real slow
hand. Yep.
Where it was like play a lick and then just drop your hands from the guitar, sing a little bit.
Yeah, let it speak. can breathe, and then go back at it.
It was hot, man. Like it was.
It
wasn't like guitar acrobatics that were unbelievable. It was just so authentic, and the vibe was great.
That look always like cracked me up. It's always a fat guy seated.
He was fat too.
It's a big ass guitar, and it's off to the side because anything out front it's too like far. So he plays out here, and the belly just kind of goes this way.
Yep.
And he's ripping leads.
Grayish beard in his 70s, fat.
Wow,
dude, it was great.
So how long you hung for a little while, and then back home?
Yep.
What was that 4 days or so? 5 days?
I got in there Sunday night. He came home Friday night. It was awesome. The
Beautiful.
days were long, but it was such a great crowd.
Yeah.
That it was a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, you didn't miss anything here.
I know, man.
What happened here?
It's nice to be moving and
I guess,
shaking.
Yeah, the Phillies are playing well. Anything else? Not really, no.
My boy also started football a few weeks ago.
I saw pictures.
That's been a whole nother thing
man.
I can talk about.
Whistles and shit. I love that shit.
Like padded up.
Yeah.
Padded.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when he wanted to play, it was because like boys at his like the camp that he went to at the Y over the summer were talking about it. So he really wanted to play. But then we'd have a talk like we'd have to think about it. Like, is he going to get hit and like wig out thinking it's a fight? Is he not going to understand it's a game and start crying if he falls? Like, is he ready for this or not?
Yeah.
We're like, fuck it. He has to.
What's the age? How old
7.
7. So yeah, I mean, I started at 6. So 7. Yeah, that's about. It's early. It's young, but I mean, he's got it together enough to probably know. And he might cry. I mean, the kids cry, but like maybe the second time he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he took to it great.
Yeah,
and he's doing awesome. He's coordinated, whatever. He had his first game this past Saturday, and he did cry a little bit. Mm-hmm. While chasing a boy down 15 yards away from the play, well after the whistle, to take a haymaker swing at him, and we're from sides going, no. And like it happened in slow motion. Like he stalked this dude down, and he was doing such a good job blocking that they started to get dirty out of frustration.
Yeah.
And one guy grabbed his neck, and that's what he was reacting to after the whistle. But all game, we were like, he was like in battles, like
blocking battles,
10 yards over the, whatever, but like still driving his feet after the whistle, like way away from the ball.
Yeah.
We're like, Michael's battling with this dude.
So at 7, he knows to like, when shit's on, if like he crossed the line and like he was going after him, there was no stopping him. Does he know the rules? Like when you sit down and watch football this year, will he know what's going on?
Maybe by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, probably, yeah.
But like they've only practiced like 2 weeks and like yeah, he doesn't know. He couldn't. He's like a guard on offense and end on defense, and he doesn't know. He kept asking me to remind him what position he was playing.
What position and all that. I kind of remember, like, when I was young, being really into it, but my cousin in town, Pat O'Donnell, he was always so good. Like, he was so good, and my uncle was the coach, and Pat was the best kid on every team. So, like, it forced me to kind of, I had to learn up and study, like, what the game was and what I could do and all that stuff, just to, like, be on it somewhat, could be on the same field as him.
Were you self-motivated to do that? Or was your dad like,
no. My dad wasn't like a football dad at all. He wasn't even a guy that really watched he would watch the Eagles, but it wasn't like 1 o'clock every day with the hat on and all that. He was out in the garage, like fucking with cars. And I was so into the game. So yeah, it was more self-motivation because I had a cousin who was that much better than everybody. So like, I wanted to be in the same discussion. And, he was the quarterback and all that. And I was a bigger kid. So that was always the line that sucked. But
yeah,
if you play defense, at least you could tackle, and that makes it so much better. Because if you just play offense and you just block the whole time, there needs to be some release where you can get your fucking frustration out instead of just blocking.
You need to make the highlight reel.
You got to make the highlight reel. So I realized on defense you can actually, kill people. So, yes, but yeah, I loved it as a kid, and I'm glad. This time of year, I'm seeing all the pictures and shit. What position? O-line, D-line?
Yeah, like he wanted to be like quarterback or whatever.
Yeah, but usually the coaches kind of steer you.
They're the coaches' kids, which is fine. It's not like they're not suited for the positions they are.
Right.
So whatever. That's how it works. But Michael's like tall too.
Right. He's
so
big.
like physically, he's like a lineman, but he's not like fat and uncoordinated.
Exactly.
He's just like a big boy.
They're always in young kid like sports or football. They're always going to put the tall, bigger kid, even though he's not big. None of the kids are big yet. I mean, they're not home like house and sandwiches. They're just children. Dude. But yeah, they're always going to play line. But you'll run into it, and I'm sure that there will be that coach where the kid isn't suited to play quarterback, but he plays it anyway because he's the coach. That's coming up. That does happen.
Speaking of my son, his mom put a picture of him and his sister on Facebook a few days ago, and people are commenting like it's normal or whatever. Do you want to read the bottom one, though, including the name that comes out of nowhere?
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Huang Wenjian. Is this your child? I look at how handsome and beautiful he looks. His bright eyes, high nose, and charming smile all exude a unique charm. I bet when he grows up, he will attract countless suitors. Was this me all fucked up last night trying to fuck
No,
him?
dude, it's Young or whatever his name is.
Do you know?
No, dude. We
watch your boy.
block, report, like
Yeah, did you have to go
we had to fight back Facebook style.
Dude, yeah, that's way too far.
Extremely too far. Is it a dude that's just that horny, or is it like a spam, like fake?
I think he's just a dude way too horny.
I don't like the fact that he's coming at my son, but I think it's hilarious that a dude
And he's
like,
beautiful. I have to agree with him.
That would be his normal like. If that's a dude that's his real status, and he's just brazen like that, that's hilarious.
I agree with everything.
Dangerous and wrong, all that.
Yes, but I agree with everything you said. A, I've seen your son. He's gorgeous.
Damn.
And B, I don't know. He's not a liar. That's all I can say. Everything else is inappropriate. He's right, and he's not a liar. I hate him.
There's a weird line about talking about kids like that. That clearly is above the line.
Oh yeah.
I had I don't want to say a neighbor say to me a few weeks ago. He goes, "Your daughter is beautiful. She's going to be a heartbreaker when she's older." And the way he said it, I was whoa, stop. The fuck was that, man?
See that?
Like he said that, then kind of walked away. But in my head, I'm like, oh, some people say that. No, fuck you.
I think that line specifically is the fucking line. You know what I mean?
It's not necessarily
It is the line, and anybody with a fucking brain, it's inappropriate.
Imagine saying that to someone.
I couldn't, because I would know right away, like that's inappropriate. But I think that's the line that I've heard people say before that would make you, as like a thoughtful person, not react to like it is that anything clearly to the right or left is left, fair game, right? Whoa, motherfucker! But that's almost one where you got to be like, and it would eat you. It'll eat you up. It'll eat you up for a couple of days. But I'm glad you probably shouldn't have, because it could be kind of taken in a way it's just pretty girl.
That Dave Chappelle skit from the Chappelle Show where we're keeping it real goes wrong.
Where
it's all he had to do was just
but then he
shake it off and go home.
Right.
But what'd you say, dude? I had to swallow it. I was almost like, hey man, come back. Let's talk about this and let's unpack. And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah,
but that is on the line, dude. What the fuck does that mean?
I know that I've had
just say, oh, she's cute.
The most I've ever said about anything, you beautiful children. Your children are really beautiful kids, man. Like you guys are, and that's all you say. You don't specifically pick out and then talk about it, what they're gonna break hearts and relationships and shit. Yeah. They're children. You know what I mean?
Wait until the future. She's gonna be so hot,
and her
dating is gonna be so active too that she's gonna be breaking up.
Now that goes to the other line, and then you punch the guy. I think that line, just how you said it too, is the middle where it's like, wait, did I hear that wrong or whatever? And then you go and stew over it for a couple of days.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, what you say, you motherfucker?
So if you're listening, I don't think that's okay. I think the line needs to come back a step where that's over the line.
I hear you.
I think the line lives there now, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Joe Biden stuff, with when the sniffing and stuff like that. I don't think that that comes from a time where that wasn't necessarily wrong. But he's outkicked his coverage at this point. He's lived longer than anybody that's still alive. So those kind of things are it changes with timing. So you almost got to be careful. Whereas if this person wasn't much older than us, then I think it's really inappropriate. But if it's somebody maybe anybody 70 and older, they can say whatever they fucking want, But that's for somebody our age or close to our age. That's a step too far. Yeah,
I would say mid to late 50s.
He's dancing that line again. Yeah, he's right on that line where it's okay, maybe
What are you talking about?
I think the way you reacted perfectly. You had the right reaction, and you also didn't react the wrong way, which is really fucking.
I didn't react at all. I just changed his internal file in my head to will possibly swing at a block
exactly.
party.
Yeah, wait until you're drinking together.
If he pops off, just out of nowhere, all when I'm back drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, just on a low, just looking to let loose. I'm gonna somehow make that the valid reason why I swing.
All of a sudden,
and ruin the block party.
All of a sudden, you're hanging out with him even more, just to kind of see if he disrespects you,
just to give him max opportunity,
dude.
Just to fucking creep up from behind him at a block party and punch him in the ear.
That's funny, man.
Kids are crying and shit. Isn't that shady though? How cultural norms change over time.
Yeah.
How old people are racist and you're just oh. Nana's really sweet. She's just from a different time. Like,
yeah, like we spoke about this before, how like people our parents' age, men our parents' age, they always got to like say like the race of the guy, like that they're talking only like not when they're white, but anything like if it's a Puerto Rican guy, Mexican guy, like they have to like throw that out there after they say like this is Mickey, great black guy, great guy, like
black guy.
No, I wonder now that they don't do that like as much. I don't think so.
That's why some corner bars still thrive, because you can say stuff like that.
Show me the ones.
And barbershops. Very small, like old Italian guy barbershops. Like that, like you're like, how does this stay open? That's why.
There used to be a guy.
Dudes will travel from all around to be able to talk like that.
There used to be an Italian guy, Tony, in Collingdale, and he was on McDade Boulevard, and he'd smoke cigs while cutting your hair, but he would put shaving cream on and do you a straight shave, even his children, and it would make you feel so cool. But I remember just coughing my balls off because this guy's smoking, and nobody told him to stop. Yeah, during the haircut. Yeah, different time, like you said. Norms change. Now, I don't know. You get your haircut often. I go to a place where it's so fucking expensive that I can't go all the time. But I like the way it looks when I go. So I go like every 3 or 4 months now instead of like every 2.
Did I talk about my last time here?
No.
All right, yeah. So the last time I went was my last time. Now, granted, I don't wear a hat to hide that I'm bald. I prefer to wear a hat, and it just so happens to hide it. But yeah, I don't.
So you can do that yourself?
What's that? Yeah, I can do it myself. Okay. The last time I went to a Great Clips. So I guess I had it coming to me, but I sit down and I said something to the lady about, oh, it looks like it's going to rain. And she went, yeah. And I wasn't even making a joke, but the way she laughed like that, I was like, fuck, she's on pills. And I'm all,
she's a hairdresser.
Yeah. And she's already putting the cape on me. I can't leave, but she hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
And that's not the laugh of someone that's not on pills. So I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
And the haircut was, even though it's the simplest thing in the world I can do myself, she fucked it up. And also when she trimmed my mustache, like I like it to be trimmed right at the edge of my lip.
Sure, because it'll grow eventually to down.
Yeah, but I don't like there to be even a gap of skin between.
Okay,
okay. Like and there was like a half inch. My mustache was so weird that when I got home, my daughter cried because I didn't look the same. Like I was like, they won't notice it.
Right away, the daughter's fucking crying.
Yeah,
I think that like a hairdresser, that's unless you're a high end like lady hairdresser, you've had a rough paper route.
And when she rang me up, they normally just ring me up and it comes to like $24. She rang me up for a haircut plus a beard trim, and it was like $45 with tip. And I was like, I don't need that.
Mine now it's 40 and you're supposed to tip 10, so it's 50 altogether. And I love it. The guy does a great job and shaves it up, the beard and all that. That's too much money.
It's a lot.
I don't know. It's not a part of my budget, that's for sure.
I would get a hair transplant or something. I think there's like creams or pills you can take to grow hair, but I don't think they're great.
Well, I mean, money buys everything, really, because look at LeBron James. He was legitimately bald his first couple of years. He was just an early bald and got it.
It's better now?
He's got a full head of hair. So with the right amount of money, I mean, look at Magic Johnson with the HIV. Yeah. With the right amount of money, you can pretty much push anything off till,
hair aside, money can also take care of AIDS.
Yeah, take care of AIDS, dude. But yeah, LeBron's got a perfect head of hair now. How's that happen? He just has the right, he can throw money at the problem.
I daydream about hairstyles that I would have if I could.
Yeah, it's just something you don't even think of it if it's not like an issue. Yeah, I got a full head of hair, and I don't know. I don't think it's ever done anything for me. I mean, it's gray now, so that sucks.
It looks
very
nice, though.
Very young. I want gray.
What would your dream hairstyle be?
I always liked, how like Johnny Depp could like just come out with like long hair, like looking really cool, like just like long, healthy, like cool long hair would be great to have that kind of Johnny Depp kind of thing. But
one of the guys I was with this past week had an unbelievable head of hair. He's from Alabama. So after everything that he would, and I was saying this by the end of the week too, after everything cool that happened and after most things, he said he would just go roll Tide.
Did he do it just to make you laugh, or is that what he does?
Out of habit.
No shit.
Like it was only funny because I picked up on it. Like he didn't even think about it really. Like he would present on something, people would clap, be like roll Tide, straight face, then sit down, and we started going roll Tide. Do you know when
our age?
No, like 30,
younger.
Yeah, younger. Drank like a fish too. Is the man. Do you ever see what's his name, Will Ferrell on Eastbound and Down when he's like the gray haired
plums? Yeah.
No, let the boy watch. His hair in those scenes.
Yeah,
it was like that, but it was brown.
Oh wow, that's like
hair.
feathered like
fucking unreal.
80s cocaine
like,
hair.
I think he went through a bottle of shampoo that week or something like that. Or like day 2, he was like, "Oh, someone run into the store. Can you grab me up some Head and Shoulders?" I ran out, and we're like, "Of course you fucking ran."
Right, that's like Daryl Hall hair, like after the 70s, like 80s.
Yeah, dude.
What's that Miami guy that always writes that music that reminds me of like good Miami cocaine in the 80s? Same girl I used to be.
Oh, Steve Winwood.
Well, yeah, he reminds me of that look, that early 80s look, Miami Vice kind of thing.
Look, dude.
Yeah, so that kind of hair, like with the feathered kind of thing.
The Silver Fox type dude with like the short, like khaki shorts, loafers, a light jacket.
Yeah.
Barely did anything to it coming out of his like short.
Yeah, like he made it out of the 70s and he's still got, the 80s are looking
still
great.
has the hot wife that's older, but she's like still maintained her looks kind of.
Yeah. He's kind of bought into whatever, like politics is like making him the most money.
That's it.
And he's changed his whole fucking career.
Like a late model Porsche.
Oh, yep.
Nothing new, but it's this Porsche that he's been driving forever.
Same girl I used to be. Yeah, with that going in the fucking in his CD player. He's the first one with one.
I love how that song starts off on the pre-chorus. Minimal intro that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I would really love that hair. I would also like dreadlocks, but not like dirty dreadlocks, like the educated guy dreadlocks, where it's like it's big down to your butt, but it's like in a nice ponytail, like the Malcolm Jamal Warner,
like a full
copy.
one, yeah,
like full,
like a full one. Then you have the rubber band, that big rubber band that stays like
but
that.
But the dreads are nice and taken care of, like not like matted, like
exactly, like
classy.
I saw Ziggy Marley at the what's the fucking venue in Philly? It's right down there on 7th Street. In that area by Finnegan's Wake. Electric Factory, exactly. But
what's it called now? Franklin Factory.
Is that what it is now? Yeah.
I was trying to think of that.
Ziggy Marley at the Electric Factory, and his brother Steven was there. He was like an awesome hip hop artist and all that. But a little unknown thing that my uncle told me about, because he's a huge like music guy. There's Marley kids that all live in Delaware. Bob Marley had like a side piece or whatever, and she lived in Delaware, and those kids were raised there and are from there. So they're like half brothers of Ziggy Marley and Damien and all them. But we're at the Electric Factory, and I'm in high school or young college. We end up sitting next to them, and they're all kind of like half white, half black, but they had these awful dreads. They all went down to like their shins.
Oh, really?
But they were balding also, so like they just kind of went from here or down. But I never smelled so much weed in my life. And my uncle told me the whole story. Like they're related. They're Bob's kids.
I forget what it is. I was aware of that. Mm-hmm. Not that there still existed people. I wasn't. But I knew Bob spent some time in Wilmington. I saw a biography before. And I almost want to say his mom. Well, his dad was a British soldier that impregnated his mom during the war. And I don't know if it was like the white side of the family or even if it was like the mom spent some time in Wilmington. But Bob ended up there for a couple years.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Why? Yeah. Like one of the fucking beatest places in the country.
Yeah, dude. And if you're a close relative of Bob Marley, of course you're going dreads. Who's going to tell you can't?
Exactly. You're definitely not. You're not going crew cut. You'd be a fucking solid
family. If you
family.
tell the story all the time, people are going to be like, dude, what the fuck? Nah.
Yeah.
Pull out your Marley card.
All right, man.
Yeah. And that Marley card, I've got Sirius XM, the satellite radio.
Yeah.
No big deal. But
how do you afford it, man?
Yeah, dude, we can talk about it off. I know.
That's
man.
awesome. Thanks,
man.
You're welcome.
But there's a Bob Marley radio.
Yeah.
There are like fucking like 70 Marley relatives that are all riding the train. Like
they get a piece of the nut.
Next up, we have Brian Marley with his new single. It's just like Brian Marley's one, Skip Marley is one, Rita Marley is one. I think that used to be his wife.
I know.
But you can come up with any first name, and there's
Damien. I'm sure.
Damien. Yeah. But like next up, Pat Marley's new single. Like they're all recording artists. Like 70 just riding that last name.
Dude, I have a connection to speaking of riding the last name, I have a connection to seeing the Beatles, but no, it's not Paul McCartney, which was what everyone would think, or seeing George Harrison when he was alive. I used to work at Penn, and I used to sneak over on my lunch break to the World Cafe.
Free at Noon.
Free at Noon World Cafe. And I could get in the back door because I had a key to the building. And I saw Danny Harrison there. And halfway through, I'm like, he's doing a good job, but there was no way he was even on that stage if he wasn't George Harrison's son. Yeah. And I'm thinking the whole time, that's good. And it's colorful, some of the melodies and stuff, but they weren't they didn't seem written by him. Like it just seemed like he was just like a regular guy.
Sounds a lot like George from what I've heard,
and looks.
I haven't heard it lately,
and looks like just like him. But yeah, halfway through the concert, I'm like, he'd be nowhere without that.
Did you shout anything up to the stage?
No, I just kind of watched quietly, because I was on the clock. I was on the
ruining
clock
it for everybody.
Yeah,
like make everyone drive home with a pit in their stomach.
Be on your dad's nut and tit. Get this guy out of here. I've seen a lot of like free noons for free. They're all free, but you got to be a member.
You saw George Harrison's son. I saw John Lennon's son. I saw Sean Lennon and
now he has some interesting stuff.
Great stuff.
His voice is an acquired taste.
Me,
yeah.
Don't you know? Yeah.
It's like John's, but almost more nasally and more almost feminine.
But very John Lennon-ish.
Very Lennon. He has
and
that
he's
side
John and Yoko's kid. He's an Asian John Lennon.
Absolutely. He looks just like him too, and his mom. But his voice is like, because John's voice was nasally too, but at least John had that attack in the back of his throat that nobody can, like that desperation yell. Like he had it was awesome. Like this boy, that note in this boy at the end, till I see you cry, like that thing that only comes from like that back of a good screamer's neck. And the kid, he's definitely got a good voice. Like he knows pitch and all that kind of stuff, but it's just a little too feminine nasally for me. If you're going to be nasally, you better be a man.
Pussy shit.
Yeah, definitely pussy shit. I saw that Yoko just moved out of their New York place last month, and she's moving. They have a property up in like upstate New York, like a farm. She's going to live out her days there. So
she should have to live in a small apartment with noisy neighbors. She should not be living in mansions.
Dude, Paul McCartney's kind of came out and said dude, John was in love, what the fuck, but he didn't handle it. He handled it like a bitch. Yeah. I mean, I remember our band practices. This was 20 years ago, and with Thug Folk, we wouldn't have a girl sitting there the whole time. No. Like nobody could do that. Like immediately, the other three would be like, "What the fuck?" Or four would be, "What the fuck, dude?" Like. And they'd be right. Like, this is our 3 hours we have. Tell the girl to like walk somewhere else. And the fact that he allowed that, I guess he was mentally gone from the band. Even before he would allow that.
I don't know what it's like to be in the Beatles, but when you're together as a band and you're trying to write together, you're trying to come up with something that's like bigger than the sum of its parts. Like you're trying, like the band is writing. It's not like you writing. Like when it's really going well, and like the way the Beatles did it. And to have like her just sitting there, just throws off that whole kind of like synergy of like the togetherness of the unit. It's like
because when you're in a band and like you said, when you're writing as a band and all adding parts, some work, some don't, but you're all kind of collecting and saying, "Oh, good job here." There's somebody there that's not a part of that goes back with the one person, and that one person lets out all their frustrations and all that. So there's always that kind of edge that they're always going to be here and that kind of thing. So you wonder that like. I don't think anybody should be a part of a band practice that's not within that unit, if you're being creative. So I couldn't believe that they didn't fucking get her out sooner. Like they pretty much were all bitches for allowing that.
Yeah. That has to be a loud discussion like right away. Like same day, maybe not that minute, but
don't embarrass him in front of his chick, but like, we got to talk, dude. Yoko's got to fucking go.
Yeah, dude, it's throwing off the dynamic.
Yeah, we will actually. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about girls fucking up bands.
Be sure you support our show. Become a subscriber on the Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Bonus content and other stuff.